take one of these and put it here, and this will go through the PA
Mayor A or Mayor B?
if you want. For now, that way everybody can hear it.
Mayor, you're live.
The order time is now
5:35.
5:35 on August 27th, 2025. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Commissioner Mohammed.
Here.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette.
Here.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins. He is absent. Vice Mayor Kashem.
Yes.
Mayor Jacobs.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mayor.
You okay?
Yeah, he's running late.
Oh, you had some procedures done.
All right. Additions, deletions, or withdrawals to the agenda? None. Public comment related to agenda items, good and welfare? None. All right. Public hearing, 6.1. Consideration for the approval of a resolution granting a variance to section 1081C of the Code of Ordinances pursuant to the variance conditions in section 1024 for the Ecos Pembroke Park project building official. Obi-Wan? I'm not even going to try. You know that. Resolution number 2025-030.
May I?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Commission. And for the record, item 6.1 on our agenda is the request for a variance by the Ecos Development, who's the applicant here this evening. This is a quasi-judicial item, as the Commission's aware. I'm going to start just reading the title of the resolution into the record. It's Resolution 2025-030, a resolution of the Town Commission, the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, in accordance with Section 10-664 of the Town's Code of Ordinances, granting a variance from Section 10-81.c of the Town Code to allow an elevation of 10 feet for the principal building and 8.8 feet for the accessory parking garage for the Ecos Park property, generally located at the northeast corner of Southwest 56th Avenue and Southwest 41st Street on the County Line Road, superseding conflicting resolutions, finding for severability, and fighting for an effective date. Just as a matter of procedure, if I could, Mayor, Commission, and for the record, if we can indicate that Commissioner Hodgkins is here for the clerk's benefit. We're just going to ask that any person who's going to speak this evening, both for staff and for the applicant, be sworn in. I do believe that the applicant has a presentation that they have submitted to the clerk. That'll become part of the quasi-judicial record. So we do have a formal record of the proceedings.
Okay.
Do everybody just please swear or affirm the testimony you'll give this evening will be the truth and nothing but the truth? The answer is yes. Thank you. And that would go for, I believe, the engineer who's on the line as well on behalf of Keith. I just want to make sure that our engineer is also sworn in. With that, Mayor and Commission, I'll turn it over to you and to our building official to lay a presentation and a predicate for the item on behalf of the town.
Okay. Hello. Hello, Mayor and Commissioners. Today, the presentation is about a variance that Ecos is requesting from our ordinance, our floodplain ordinance 2020-004. Basically, Ecos project is in a non-flood zone X, and our ordinance does call for, if you are in that zone and you are building, the base floor elevation has to be elevated to 18 inches above the highest crown of the road. In this case, the highest crown of the road is 9.84 feet. And they are proposing the finished floor to be 10 feet, meaning that it's a foot and 0.34 below what the town ordinance does require. They have presented that there will be a lot of hardship towards making their project a reality if they have to raise it up to the required ordinance. So they have presented all their documentation that if they raise it up to that level, it will really hurt them financially, and it wouldn't be to the best interest of the town. So based upon that, normally there was also concern that since our community rating system, we are already getting into that level, it might affect it. But in actual fact, because we are in a no flood zone, it doesn't matter. The CRS wouldn't be affected because it's in a non-flood zone. And NFPI, they don't even consider that. The only thing that, in my point of view, is that they have to make sure that they have a very adequate storm drainage. Because what happened is that since the crown of the road, in that area, if it rained, it wouldn't be a flood issue, but rain. If we have a storm, a flash storm and all those things, the level that they are, the water from the road will be heading towards the property line. So to prevent that, they need very good drainage system on the property. And if they have that, then everything will be okay. So that is what I
It was
have.
the variance to upgrade the variances to ignore the level
Yes,
and
By 1 foot.
upgrade, yeah, by 1 foot and upgrade their drainage.
yes, they have to. So far, the engineer will be able to tell us if the drainage system they have there will be sufficient in case there is a storm going down there, and it wouldn't affect the finished floor elevation that they have.
Understand. So the variance is just to grant the extra 1 foot less than what the code is requiring, and then install better drainage just in case we do have some flooding down the road. like
Yes,
one of
that's
those freak
correct.
Storms from last
Yeah.
year. Okay.
And I would also just add, as a matter of procedure, this is a variance from the city's flood code. We have a specific provision in our code that establishes a process for the commission to consider these variances. Many cities just have a general variance section. Pembroke Park is somewhat unique in that it has a specific provision that allows for variances in the context of floodplains in particular. There are certain conditions that the code does provide for. Again, before the applicant presents, I just wanted to put on the record that the conditions for issuing a variance under this provision provide for three things: a determination by the town commission that a failure to grant the variance would result in exceptional hardship due to the physical characteristics of the land that render the lot undevelopable, increased costs to satisfy the requirements, or inconvenience do not constitute a hardship, that the granting of the result in increased flood heights, as your building official indicated, additional threats to public safety, extraordinary public expense, nor create nuisance, fraud on, or victimization of the public, or conflict with local existing laws and ordinances, and that the variance is the minimum necessary considering the flood hazard to afford relief. Those provisions that are articulated in your code, they've been in the town code for a number of years now.
And it shouldn't surprise you that Pembroke Park has something unique in their code. Not after the time you've been here. Next, you guys have questions for the building official?
No.
Okay. You want to come up and present, sir?
Okay.
And again, the presentation by the applicant, who's represented by Mr. Polyakoff, will all be provided to the clerk and submitted as part of the quasi-judicial record.
Please
Thank
introduce
you.
yourself.
Absolutely, Mayor, members of the commission. Keith Polyakoff here on behalf of the applicant, McDowell Housing Partners. They'll speak in 1 second, but I just wanted to lay the foundation to make sure everything is clear here. I love how the building official called it a non-flood zone because it is. In case you all don't know, Flood Zone X is the best flood zone you could get in the entire state of Florida. It means that there's no flooding there. That's how you get a Flood Zone X. Your municipality has done an incredible job in achieving Flood Zone X designation. As also stated by the building official, by granting this variance, it doesn't impact your flood map. It doesn't impact your certification at all. It's not considered within that. So how did we get here? We submitted plans probably 2 years ago.
Long time, probably multiple months ago. I don't know if 2 years, but over a year ago.
That had our project at 10 feet NAVD, so 10 feet above, base level roughly. We processed them. No one said anything. Broward County approved them. All the drainage was approved. It was approved for a 100-year storm with that level. I want to make sure that's clear. In fact, we got our final certification today or yesterday? Yesterday for the 100-year storm certification based on our level. All ADA ramps, everything was approved based upon that level. Then we come into the city for final approval for the building permit, and someone properly noticed, wait a minute here, you're a foot lower because the road's a little bit higher, and therefore, sorry, we caught it now, you have to go back through the process. If we were to have to raise the building a foot, it changes the entire drainage calcs with Broward County. It changes the entire ADA configuration of the property, and there's no impact to the municipality, the public, or anyone else, leaving it at 10 feet NAVD. I know you have a brief presentation, but I just wanted to introduce those facts ahead of time.
Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. My name is Eduardo Turan. I'm with McDowell Housing Partners. So let me just go through my quick presentation, and if anybody has any questions, we're happy to answer the questions at the end. So just to remind everybody what we're talking about today, we're talking about Ecos Pembroke Park. It's a 10-story high-rise located on what will be 5595 Southwest 41st Street. We have modern, resilient, flood-compliant zoning. We have a 2.5 level garage with 160 spaces. We are currently in the FEMA Flood Zone X, as was previously noted. Flood Zone X, by definition, says that you have less than a 0.2% annual chance of flooding. So, we've gone through what the variance is. There is a section in your code that requires us to be 18 inches above the crown. What we're requesting is that our building base elevation is at NAVD 10 feet, and that our garage also will be lower than that 18 inches. So just to give you a little bit of more information, some of the background supporting information to our variance request is, number one, and most importantly, again, we're in Flood Zone X. This is not, this is the best flood zone you can have because it doesn't have any flooding. The town imposes a 100-foot building restriction. We have been carefully working for months to design this building at 99 feet, 10 inches. So we have a variance of 2 inches to play with. And so, as you guys can see, and we can show in our site plan, our site is very small and has been meticulously planned to ensure that all components can be there for us to meet the 150 units that we need to deliver. Preservation of the accessibility, ensuring that we have ADA compliant design, as was mentioned by Mr. Polyakov. We've carefully designed to ensure that in this senior community, people can freely move with whatever constraints that they may have. And then, finally, I want to touch on the intent of the ordinance is met, which is to protect the building and the structure from flooding. And just to reiterate, we did get our Broward County surface water management license that essentially ties back to the Broward County future condition map, which is a tool that Broward County uses countywide to ensure that structures and developments are not being placed in dangerous areas that are at risk of flooding, obviously for known conditions. And then finally, we are not within a FEMA flooding condition area of concern. So we believe that, by everything that we've stated, that, we're respectfully requesting approval of this variance. And that's essentially all I had. So I'll leave these conditions up here and happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
I have one.
Yes, sir.
I know I've been over that site with you guys and everybody else. So
Yes, sir.
for a long time. We resolved that parking down on that side street, right? Down there on the side.
We've resolved the parking, and we're providing a 2.5 story, 160 parking stall count parking lot with, I think it's 6 EV charging stations as well. So
Excellent.
yes,
Thank you.
yes, sir. Anybody have any other questions?
May I, Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, and again, this isn't so much a legal issue, but I've been asked several times this afternoon about a couple components of the variance. So I just wanted to get a couple things on the record if I could. We do have both Mr. Larson is here. Also, an engineer from Keith is also here. I believe he's on the Teams online who both reviewed the application. There were some questions about the FEMA flood ratings, any impacts to premiums, and other unintended impacts that may result from the variance. You may just want to hear from some of those professionals just to reconfirm that there would be no impacts consistent with the testimony of your building official and the applicant. But again, I would defer to the professionals with regards to those issues.
Sounds good.
Mr. Mayor, if I could be heard for just a moment, because it's going to sort of put into context what our attorney has indicated. I want to clarify this for everybody. This afternoon, I was chatting with Commissioner Mohammed, and she expressed to me that she had been chatting with Mr. Larson and that he had identified a couple of items that could cause some apprehension as relates to this variance. And I want to make sure I identify both of those areas of apprehension. And then, with your permission, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to engage in a colloquy with those two engineers that I believe will help put the matters to rest. The first issue, in order to identify the issues, after Commissioner Mohammed contacted me, we convened a conference call with Ashira Mohammed as the commissioner, with our town attorney. We also brought in Mr. Larson, was the one that she'd been conferring with, Jeff Lewis, our building director, and in addition to that, we had Mr. Abanagovi, our building official. And so we essentially had all of us on the call at one time. And the two essential issues, and I'm going to summarize these in the interest of time because the clerk has told me there's a 6 o'clock hard break that she's going to try to comply with tonight. The first one was there appropriate drainage so that the neighbors do not have an issue with flooding being caused by the elevations or the variance or any other activity in terms of stormwater at the ECOS location. And Mr. Larson engaged in a colloquy with Mr. Abanagovi and also with Jeff. And I believe that matter was resolved by virtue of the storm drainage plan that they have at ECOS, and I believe that was put to rest. The second issue, though, was a little bit more where we had to have some concern, and that was, would the variance being granted put us in a position where our CRS rating would be affected? Because normally if you're in a flood zone and you do something that's the nature of a variance, your CRS rating can be affected. And what that means ultimately is somebody trying to buy flood insurance in your town because your CRS rating is affected would be more expensive. In order to address that issue, we sent all the data over to the CRS expert over at Keith, and he's featured right now. And Mr. Mayor, with your permission, I'm going to engage in a brief colloquy with him on that. Can I do so, sir?
Go ahead.
Okay. Sir, identify your name, please. Omar, tell everybody who you are.
Good afternoon, everybody. Pleasure to be here. My name is Omar Rodriguez, and I am with Keith.
Yeah, and Mr. Rodriguez, what are your qualifications in terms of CRS ratings and issues related to having your CRS rating and thus flood insurance costs affected? What's your background and qualifications in that area?
Yes, so I'm a professional engineer in the state of Florida with almost a decade of experience, and I am a certified floodplain manager with the Association of State Floodplain Managers. That is a certification that supports the background of professionals that are versed on the FEMA National Flood Insurance Program requirements and the CRS.
All right. Have you had an opportunity to examine the data and design elements related to the question related to the variance for the Ecos project here in Pembroke Park this evening?
I've had the chance to review the data, yes.
Okay. And what conclusions have you reached in terms of the impact of the granting of this variance on the CRS rating and thus the cost of flood insurance here in our town? What conclusions have you reached?
Right, the conclusion was fairly easy, it was straightforward. The site is not in the floodplain, it's not in a special flood hazard area, right? So the National Flood Insurance Program that regulates the development in the floodplain, right? And then the CRS program is a incentive program that is voluntary, that all communities can get into, that rewards communities that regulate the development in the floodplain to a higher regulation, right? So in this case, this development will not negatively impact the CRS program application of the town because this development is not in the floodplain.
And is that your conclusion in light of the fact that the variance may be granted this evening?
Correct.
Okay. No further questions of this witness, Your Honor. We have great
Is there
confidence.
someone else you wanted to talk to as well?
Well, Mr. Larson is here, but Todd, unless there's anything else, I think based on your analysis, we had a chance to identify the issues. I presume your conclusions at this stage of the game are relatively consistent with Mr. Rodriguez's?
They're close.
Okay.
Todd Larson. He's correct that this should be minimal impact. It'll be some impact because they could pull the points for the extra elevation requirement because of the variance, or they could reduce the points. I mean, it may be minimal. It may be, not a lot of points, but it is points.
Mr. Rodriguez, could you address what Mr. Larson just said?
Yes. So basically, how the CRS program works is that the town will pursue activities, qualified activities that are allocated certain points. So, but again, all these are in relation to the development, to the regulation of development in the floodplain. Then there are certain category that is very minimal of a regulated activity or higher regulations. Right, which in this case, this property might fall into, but the points are very minimal, and of course, the goal will be to pursue all other eligible activities to accrue, however many points are needed to continue on the same class of the CRS community rating system, or even a better class.
Yeah, he is correct.
Okay.
It have some effect, but it may be minor.
Microscopic?
Well, I wouldn't say microscopic, but
Okay.
not enough to knock you out, in or out of something.
Gotcha. Okay.
You could make it up elsewhere. There's a lot of different, what they call extra activities, which this is one of.
Sure. Mr. Mayor, based on the conclusions that we've gotten from the experts, first of all, I want to thank the Commissioner Mohammed because it wasn't until this afternoon we had a chance to evaluate these issues, and without her doing that and her doing her homework and identifying the issues, they would not have come to light. But I believe we can confidently say that they've been resolved, and I ask that this commission move forward with a motion to approve the variance in this matter. Thank you.
Public.
I have a quick question to you, Mr. Larson. Here,
Todd.
up front here, look here. Okay. Your concern is because we're changing a plot from a percolating system to a drain system. You think, or there could be issues with.
My issue was, I was just worried about the effects of a variance against
The CRS.
the CRS. It may not be enough to make a change. It may be enough to knock you over an edge that you may be able to pick up somewhere else. I don't know. That was number one. The other issue that I talked about, that we talked about before, I was worried about how, with all this structure on the one site, what the on-site storage capacity was for what year storm. It should be a 25-year storm, I believe, by the code. Before it dumps water onto the neighboring property, because it's commercial.
I don't know
The family residence
code,
commercial.
but
And they tell me it was
built to
more than that. They told me it was
100-year
100.
storm,
So
not a
Built to
25-year.
no 75-year storm according to Keith, right?
Well,
That's
No.
what's
all
the
our drainage
storm?
projects.
Yeah,
been,
I'm not worried about the base floor elevation is for a 100-year storm for the building.
yeah, Jeff is
But
here. He can
the
confirm.
storage of water from rainfall until it overflows into the neighboring properties, since it is multifamily is considered commercial, it has to meet the code. And I would assume that the building department checked that.
We won't issue a permit.
And the lower elevation actually helps that because there's more room on site before you overflow into somebody else.
Yeah, that's increasing their capacity.
Just one comment, if I could. And Mr. Larson, only just to avoid confusion, I know we all know who you are. I'm not sure that the applicant knows who you are. If we could just get your background and you know who you are and why you have some expert testimony for the record, might be helpful.
Okay, I'm Todd Larson. I work for Craig A. Smith and Associates Engineering.
Please speak into the mic.
I'm sorry, I work for Craig A. Smith and Associates Engineering. I'm the former director of public services here. I spent over 20 years here. I was the floodplain manager, and I oversaw, and actually I was the director during the time that this ordinance was passed.
And again, we know Mr. Larson has certain unique expertise here, but again, I'm just not sure that the applicant is aware of his background. I wanted the record to reflect that. Thank you, Mayor.
Another term unique in Pembroke Park. Thank you. Questions from the commission?
I have one question, Todd. I think you will have to answer. The first presentation we saw, it was like 1 foot they are trying to increase, and the second one, it says 100 foot. What's the big difference between two of them?
Between the 25-year storm and the 100?
Yeah.
It depends. Once a storm that reaches a level of what they call 25 years only happens supposedly once every 25 years, but we all know it's more often than that. And you got it's 4 times more likely to hit a 25-year storm than a 100-year storm, which is a higher amount of rainfall. I think a 25-year storm's like, I don't know, 8 inches or something like that, where a 100-year storm is like 12 inches.
Okay.
And a 500-year storm might be 18 or 20 inches of rainfall. So the higher the storm, the more protection you have. That's all.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
At this time, I'll open it up for public comment. See you back there, Mr. Roach. No public comment. We'll close public comment. I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution number 2025-030.
I second it.
You need a motion.
Oh, no, sorry.
Make the motion.
Yeah.
I make the motion to approve resolution 2025-030.
I second it.
Roll call.
Mayor Jacobs,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kashem,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Morissette,
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed. Yes. Motion passes.
Any further attorney comments?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Town manager?
Nothing.
Commissioner Mohammed?
No, unless I could pull the item from their insurance from the workshop to the special right now. That's about it.
That's not on this one, so you'll have to wait.
I know. I was
Commissioner
trying.
Morissette,
Pardon?
You have any comment?
comments?
No, already did comment.
And Mosfika, comments?
No, thank you.
I have none. We have one announcement. We'll have the first budget hearing Wednesday, September 10th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Regular commission meeting will be September 10th at 7 p.m. shortly after the first budget hearing has ended. Special magistrate hearing will be September 17th, 2025 at 9 a.m. Second budget public hearing will be Wednesday, September 24th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Workshop commission meeting will be Wednesday, September 24th, 2025 at 7 p.m. or shortly after the second budget hearing has ended. For community events, we have the food drive Saturday, August 30th, 2025 at 9 to 11. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Time 6:04 p.m. Adjourn.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez.